That was the voice of animal activist Jowelle Souza, who is in studio with me. Good morning, Jowelle. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And you sit on a number of charitable boards, a number of animal activist groups.
Yes.
And you intend to sue the government. Why?
Last year, August of last year, the Minister of Local Government, he contacted me and we had conversations on the telephone, and he wanted me to be a part of change of animal welfare. As you know, for years, animal welfare has been on the backbench of Trinidad and Tobago. And for any country to reach first world status, you must have proper animal welfare laws, like what you see now in Mexico. And so we met, the minister convinced me that it was time, and I felt that he was being honest in his contribution. So I met with him at the San Fernando City Corporation, where all the NGOs, all the 14 corporations, heads of corporations, whether it be the mayor, the CEO, the health, all 14. So it was about, and then the press, it was about 800 or 900 people involved. It was all stakeholders meeting. We discussed a way forward, and he was very adamant that we wanted it done right away. So 2 weeks after, on the 28th, we met again.
Yeah.
And we were going to put things in place, and the documents he gave to me, his planning officer gave all of us the same document.
And what's the specific change that was meant to be implemented at that time?
Well, right away, we wanted, there are 4 ministers that are necessary to implement change. The very first minister, it would be the Attorney General, who is one building away from me. And then secondly, the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Education, and the Minister of Local Government.
Right.
As you know, our laws in Trinidad and Tobago are so old. We follow something called a Summaries of Offences Act. That's what you use in the Magistrates Court. And it's it was the Summaries of Offences Act 1921. So it's 101 years ago.
Right.
And so that is very old. And we became independent in 1962, and some sort of a little bit of power was given to the local government minister so that he can overlook the 14, the corporations.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, since 2018, August of 2018, the 16th and the 28th, after that, all communications broke down between myself, all the NGOs, everybody.
Right.
So I contacted the president of Trinidad and Tobago. I wrote her and I told her that, you know, that we have a serious issue with animal welfare, because like the American embassy that was just here, and like the Canadian embassy and many consulates, daily we are bombarded. If you go on my Facebook, and you'd see how many dumping of animals there are in Trinidad and Tobago. And so people call you all the time and tell you, you know, it's very frustrating, you know, because we do not have the help of the government. The government does not see it fit to partner with us. And we have always asked them that we've never asked for money. What we've asked for is for them to strengthen. The most important thing is the law.
Yes. So what obtains now? What happens now if it says, I'm reading clause 88 here, which says, if any animal detained under section 85 for any period shall, on the expiration of that period or within 48 hours thereof, not be claimed by its owner, or if its owner does not pay to that society the cost of keep, treatment, etc., the person having charge of it may, after 7 days, publish in the Gazette, sell it by auction, and apply the proceeds towards the expenses incurred. Is it that you want to strengthen?
Well, that law, what you've just said, means, if you read it carefully, what it means, it pertains not to a cat and a dog. It means it's 1920. We're in 1921 there.
Right.
And it means a horse, an oxen, anything that would carry.
Right.
That doesn't pertain to any domestic animal.
So specifically, what's the upgrade that your team is asking for?
Right. What has to happen is that definitely the laws have to be enforced.
Right.
We have to enforce the laws, strengthen the laws with immediate effect.
Okay.
Else we're not going to get anywhere.
Right.
You understand? As you can see, I'm sure that you visit parts of Trinidad and Tobago, all of the beaches, they're all filled with animals, and they're all they're just stray animals.
Yeah.
No one, people have turned a blind eye.
Yeah.
The 14 corporations that I speak about,
Yes.
I visited them privately after negotiations broke down, and none of them are operational. And if I go to tell you the horrific way that they put those few animals down, it is it's something that can certainly depress, you know, an educated nation like us.
What's the next step for you, therefore?
Well, we had a legitimate expectation from the local government minister for the first time, something like that. He outlined everything, what he was going to do. So once you've got a legitimate expectation, then you can use that in court, you know, to bring a legal case against the government. So
if the minister were to call you now and say, Jowelle, let's go back to the table, let's have a conversation, let's take up where we left off.
Well, I started on Monday so that by Friday I could make a proper decision.
Okay.
I have had talks with the minister. As you know, the Prime Minister was back yesterday. I spoke with the Prime Minister's secretary yesterday, hoping that we would have a meeting with him, the Attorney General, Minister of Local Governments, and the Agriculture Minister, because I don't want our country to be further embarrassed by us actually taking our government into court on something as sensitive as animal rights and animal you know, welfare.
Yes.
It's in every country, animal welfare, down to Jamaica, it is a big thing. How does it look to know that since we've been sitting in that parliament since 1962 and no one has seen it fit to ask what's happening with our animals here in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, we're going to check in with you on Friday to see what's the update on that, so that we can get an update on Monday morning, right?
Sure.
Jowelle, Souza, thank you so much for coming in on the program.
Thank you.
We're going to take in a few messages.